What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Do you like my new hair? Yeah, for those of you just listening on Spotify and not watching this on YouTube, you are missing out because I got a new hairdo. Anyway, welcome. Oh yeah, speaking of people on Spotify, thank you so much for listening. You guys are amazing, and I really cannot thank you enough for you actually bothering to download and listen to the comments and listen to the podcast. But the fun thing about doing this and being on Spotify is that I need your help to kind of like rate and review the episodes. So after you listen, just give the episode a nice little 5 stars or however many stars you think I deserve. And then, and same for like the YouTube people as well. Leave a nice little comment or like or subscribe, and these kind of things will make doing the episode a lot easier as well. Today's episode, we're talking about just childhood trauma and drama. A lot of you, wow, look at me, right? I mean, a few of you have been asking a lot about like me being a bit more personal and talking about things from back in the day, and this is what I want to try to talk about today, and I hope the hair is not distracting enough. It is very distracting to me, so we'll see how long it lasts. But for now, a few questions to answer you guys. A memorable childhood experience that had significant impact in shaping who you are today. Okay, so just a little bit more about me. What's up, y'all? My name is Shaun. So I grew up in your typical neighborhood schools, your typical, I want to say middle, but lower middle income family. So my parents are very hard workers, and my parents are, I'm a total of, there are 4 of us siblings wise. There are 4 of us. I'm the third one. So my eldest is my sister, and she is 14 years older than me. Yep. 14 years older than me. Then my brother, he's my older brother as well. He is 12 years older than me. And then obviously there's a 12-year gap, so I am the accident, right? And then surprise, and then I have a younger brother who is like 4 years younger than me. And I think at that point in time, they're just like, okay, let's make one more so that this one has something to play with. But so I grew up in that kind of environment. And then of course my parents are divorced. So my elder 2 brother and sister, they are already like gone, and the teenagers living their own life, and I'm a baby and I don't know what's going on. So growing up, I was always like the eldest child in the household, of course. And my parents are always working, trying to provide for the entire family, right? So my mom's very hardworking. She used to work like 2-3 jobs, that kind of thing. My dad as well, and they work very long hours. I remember a few episodes. I mean, I was a kid when all this happened, so I don't even know whether this is like real. But like, I remember my dad was a taxi driver at one point in time, and I was like in the front seat of his taxi just because he had to work and he needed somebody to like take care of me, and there wasn't anybody else around. So I just had to like sit in the front seat and be very quiet and not let anybody know that there was a human being there. So I remember all these kind of things. I remember my mom used to sell like kacang putih at the theaters, right? And then she'll put me under her cart. Maybe that's why I love the smell of popcorn. I think everybody loves the smell of popcorn, right? But that's kind of like how I grew up. And then I remember going to school, like in kindergarten and stuff like that. And, when I would just have to walk home by myself. And when I walk home, no one was there. My grandfather, but he wasn't the communicative type. He doesn't speak to me at all. So it was just, doing his own thing. And then I was left doing my own thing. And I was literally raised with the TV in front of me. The TV was, and talk about nurture and nature, right? Like the TV really nurtured me. I watched sitcoms, I watched The Simpsons, I watched stuff like that, and Under One Roof, Phua Chu Kang, and I guess that's why I am the way I am, because I spent so many hours watching TV. And then like I never really got into like sports per se. So like, I mean, I can, if you really need me to, I can dribble a ball or do something with the ball. I got horrible ball sense. For someone dressed like this all the time, right? I have horrible ball sense. But like, I used to not, I mean, if I hung out with kids downstairs, they'll always be playing, under the void there, and they'll be playing like soccer and stuff like that. But I don't understand the game. I don't get it. So like a lot of times, what I do was daydream, and because like I'm such a visual learner, I'm such a visual person, so and I watch a lot of movies and TV, so I'll see like movies and shows and like daydreaming stuff in my head, and then I'll just like make up my own stories, let my imagination run wild, and I'll just be walking around a tree. People think that look at who this weird boy walking around a tree praying, doing something like that. But I'm just like reciting my own movie in my head, that kind of thing. So I guess I always meant to be a producer, but always like doing stuff like that. So these are all the memorable child. I mean, I have a few more stories. I'll go into it a bit later, lah. But basically, that's kind of like how I grew up. So I think I got my work ethic from my parents. My dad is like a hero. I mean, for those of you who at this point in time are a little bit confused because I said my parents are divorced. So like my parents are divorced, and then I stay with my my stepdad, who is my dad now, right? So my dad is such a strong man. I remember like one of the biggest significantly impactful moments in my life with him was that when he was having a heart attack. I mean, like, this is him having a heart attack. And I don't think this was his first one. This was his probably his second one or something. He was just, oh, I'm having a heart attack. He rides a motorcycle, right? So he took his motorcycle, drove all the way to the hospital, went to A&E and said, excuse me, I'm having a heart attack. This is the kind of guy that he's strong. So I think that's why I grew up with a family who doesn't really communicate that well. And, we don't talk about our feelings. We don't like do anything. My mom's rude, like anything like that. But typical like Chinese, Catholic, Eurasian auntie, right? So just like she'll see me walk past and be like, hey, you're so fat, you're like a sumo wrestler, this kind of thing. These are the stuff that I grew up with, like I walk in front of her and she's like, wow, that's the eclipse, that kind of thing. So very rude, but I love her, she's very cute. But, I know it's jokes, but also not really. So the cutting words and stuff like, I feel like sometimes when I'm tired, or sometimes when I'm like not really in the zone, not really thinking straight, my words can be very cutting as well. And some people who have had that interaction with me, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me, but I try not to be. I try to be as positive as I can, as uplifting as I can. But sometimes it happens. Nobody's perfect, right? So yeah, that's kind of like the background of me growing up, lah. What was your favorite subject in school, and why did it resonate with you? So like I said, the TV raised me. So I watched a lot of TV, and because I watched a lot of TV, English was like my best subject. So anything to do with English, it was my best subject, except when they started introducing letters in math. Then I gone. For what? I'm like, until today, I've never used cosine, sine, the Pythagoras theorem, or anything like this for anything. Anything. I feel like chill. Yeah, like plus, minus, times, divide. Why you don't teach me how to like measure square footage? I want to buy a house very hard. That kind of thing. Teach me how to do my taxes. Teach me how to like budget. Like teach me Pythagoras theorem for what? Because I have never used a compass out there in my life. This one or the normal compass in the army we use a bit, but then a bit also waste time, right? GPS, everything. So like, yeah, school. So so when I grew up, as you can tell, I'm Chinese. So I took Chinese or Mandarin in kindergarten. K1, K2, I took Mandarin, but yeah, in here, out there, nothing. Everything is just like made up words, right? I mean, all words are made up, but like there is just like characters and drawings. So everything is like drawing. And because my elder sister and my elder brother took Chinese in school, so I thought, okay, yeah, and my mom's Chinese, so I do Chinese as well. But we don't speak because we all Peranakan, so we like have Malay, have Chinese a bit here and there. And because my parents are never home, and the only loving thing that they can do is work hard for me and send me to tuition, like I don't get that kind of like attention and care. Nobody really. Back in the day, we didn't have like tuition centers that actually cared for you, or teachers that actually like sat down with you, that kind of thing. Put us in a tuition center under the block. It's just like 10 kids playing, and then the teacher's like, nah, do this, and 1 hour later, okay, goodbye, right? So I took Chinese, failed horribly. And then when I went to primary school, I guess my parents were like, okay, why don't, oh, well, the teacher suggested to my parents that, like, why don't you make him take Malay? Because it's ABC, right? So the way you write in Malay is also the way you write in English, ABC. So in their head, this like, sounds like a plan. Nope. You know what they don't tell you? They don't tell you that you have to go to a Malay class and learn Malay in Malay. So you are obviously lost from day one. And then my teacher is like, you have 40 kids to take care of. All right, who you're not gonna have to explain every single word from what to one guy, right? So he gave me an English to Malay dictionary. So sweet, right? He tried. He gave me an English to Malay dictionary. I am 12 years old, man. You give me an English to Malay dictionary, then you expect me to what? Listen to every word you say and then flip and then understand what's going on. The whole class, you talk for 45 minutes, I got the first sentence. Yep. So I mean, I managed to I can speak a little bit because speaking is easier. I'm a visual and an audio learner, right? So the more you speak, the easier it is for me to pick it up. But it's hard to pass anything at all. Is this enough? Is this distracting y'all? Can I take this off and be normal? I feel like y'all can't take me seriously when I'm there, and also nobody takes me seriously because I don't take myself seriously. So can you describe any traditions, values in my upbringing? Oh, okay. So this one is quite fun because one of my my jobs. Okay, let's talk about jobs. So after school, so I went because I couldn't do math and I couldn't do Malay and I really couldn't do anything in my life except for English. I I don't know if they still have it now, but okay. So primary school, I was what they call EM3, and then they moved to secondary school, and I was in a normal technical stream. I don't even know if they have these streams now. Then after that, I did. So okay, the funny thing is here when I did my. Now we all know that when you go to EM3, when you go to normal tech, there is always a more technical side of education. So I don't know why, but in their head it's like, oh, if you're slow to learn the book stuff, that means you must be good with your hands. So put you in some technical education class. But in my heart and in my mind, I was like, yeah, I think I can do so much better than this. I'm a slow learner, yes, but I am eager and I'm willing to learn, and that's great, right? So if I'm interested in a topic, I can learn by myself. I didn't even had an opportunity to take science in school, but I learn science by myself, and that got me interested in neuroscience, in astrophysics, and that's the kind of stuff I read today, right? So don't cut people down that way, man. Anyway, I wanted to so badly go to poly at least, and or take my N no, I took N levels. I wanted to do my O levels. I wanted to do private O's and stuff like that. So I was surrounded by a group of people that knew me very well, and these are the people who I hung out with. And when I hung out with them, I was always, the joker, the class clown, always trying to crack jokes, always trying to see people smile, because childhood trauma time, I never had that growing up, right? I was neglected, not really neglected, because I understand that my parents had to work, and I understand that the people around me had their own life, and I just never really had all that attention growing up. So I felt very neglected, and because of that, I felt like I had to overcompensate and try to make everybody happy around me all the time, and I still have a lot of that today, and that's kind of why I do what I do or feel what I kind of feel. I also feel like it's because it is part of my upbringing, because it is part of my identity. It has helped me to be who I am today as well. So I don't think about it negatively, but I think about it as, every opportunity is a learning experience. Then, so I wanted to do my O levels. I had a group of people around me that said that I couldn't do it. Yeah. And these are my friends. No, these are my friends that nope, you're just going to play. You're not going to study. You won't even. And in my head, I was like, I'm ready to sit down and learn and really try my very best. I didn't even try. Why? Because I listened to the external voices around me. And because of that, I ended up doing my N levels, then going to ITE. And I did so well for N levels. Like I actually studied and did well for N levels. I had 6 points. 6 points, I could go anywhere I wanted. But because of all these voices in my head, I was, jumped into an ITE track. And because at that point in time, for the whole like Sec 4 curriculum, right, I never even like thought about like an ITE education. So I didn't even know what they offered. I didn't even know what they had. And this is way before we have like all your Central College, East and stuff like that. So this is back in the day lah. And because of that, I was so like lost at like the last minute when they were like, okay, what course do you want to take? I'm like, I don't know what courses they are. So I end up asking this this IT guidance counselor guy, and I was like, dude, I got 6 points. Where can I go? He like 6 points. You can go anywhere you want. Okay, what's the most like best course right now? And you're like, yeah, information communication technology. Sounds fancy. Sounds like a bunch of words they put together. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that then. Is it hard to get in? Yeah, it's very hard. Okay, let's go. And horrible. I learned JavaScript, I learned C++ language, I learned how to create websites, I learned how to like hack computers and stuff like that. Fun when you think about it now, but when I was going through it, I hated it. And I was like, yep, I'm not interested. I was a horrible student and I didn't do well at all. I couldn't wait to finish my education then. I jumped into national service. This is the turning point for my life, national service, because I mean, it's something everybody has to go through, but it is also where I had a taste of, what created my work ethic. So I mean, it's not it's not like a big deal, but like I was in the commando unit, so I mean, I don't even know how they choose people, probably random. So like, and I thank God that I was placed there because the way it works, I mean, I can't say too much, but the way it works is that we are isolated from the rest of the national servicemen. So you don't have like, I don't know if you have brothers and sisters and stuff like that, or sisters. If you have brothers or uncles or dads, right? You dads no count lah. Their time, our time different. My time, this time also different. Yeah, but like they separated us from the rest of the normal cohort, and they kind of like told us that, okay, because you're a commando unit, you are supposed to be the best, so you train at a higher standard than everybody else. And I loved that. I loved knowing that, okay, there was a potential that I could reach, that I myself could work for and reach. And I tried and I worked very hard, and they taught me how to like, be the man I am today. It taught me it taught me discipline. It taught me how to see the bigger picture. It taught me to like, adapt, be very adaptable to situations. It taught me to like never give up. It taught me like one of the fun things that we learned in national service is CM, which is Charlie Mike, which is carry on mission. So basically for our division or our unit, we are given missions and we have to accomplish these missions. So, okay, we go and do this mission. And after you spend like 3-4 days walking 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, fighting, you are sweaty, you are wet, you are tired. And then your in charge, your sergeant or your officer will come and say, oh, since we're here, let's do one more mission. Right? And after that mission, oh, let's do one more. 7 missions later, you're like, okay, enough, time to go home. And then we're like, wow. So that really taught you a lot of like endurance, resilience, tenacity, and, being resourceful and being creative. And that's amazing. So after that, I was working as a youth, I can't even remember that. Not director. I wasn't even director. I was just like a youth helper. Yeah. So like, I volunteered in church a lot. So I grew up in church. I'll tell you my church story in a moment. I don't know if you all got them. This is gonna be a long one. This is like I tell you my whole childhood, right? Maybe should we do a part 2? I don't know. After you let me know. Yeah, but I still have like, this is only a second question. And it's 20 minutes already. So yeah, where was I? Okay. So I finished my national service, started working, got into youth ministry, stuff like that. And then I started doing radio, right? So when I had the opportunity to do radio, it was amazing because the guy that really taught me everything about radio was Rob Montero. And then, of course, there's so many other people who like impacted my life there as well. Glenn, the Flying Dutchman, Angel, everybody who I had the opportunity to work with, Andre, and stuff like that. And these people really like taught me how to be professional and taught me like how to think differently from everybody else, because these are people who are excited about the industry, and it was such a blessing and such an honor to be in an industry or in a job that you are excited about, that you can wake up at 4 in the morning and still be like, yes, I'm ready to go to work, I'm ready to work. And I loved every moment of it. And like Rod, one of the best things he taught me was, mind you, when I joined radio, I had no prior training. I never went to like mass comm. I never did any communications course at that point in time, or stuff like that. So I walked in there and just like, I'm a very slow learner, so teach me everything now. And I stayed and I learned everything from scratch, and I went from 0 to 100 basically, right? And then I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, humble I am. So he taught me the one thing that is ingrained in my DNA is that in every story, in every situation, and in every circumstance, learn to find the funny. What is funny? I mean, you don't doesn't necessarily mean make a joke out of everything, but find the lighter side to things. So I apply it in my life as well. So for example, a story wise, if a new story comes out and we want to talk about it, I always try to find like, hey, okay, is there a joke here? Is there something that can be relatable to someone? Is there something that we can twist and turn and make it like a skit for people to enjoy? How can we put a smile on someone's face through normal or sad situations, right? But that applies to my life as well. And like that's why I think I kind of like developed this happy go lucky, or this very like no worries kind of attitude, very too easy kind of attitude, which drives people insane. Because I've actually worked in committees or worked with groups that cannot stand positivity, that this kind of positivity lah. Because it comes off sometimes I admit it does comes off like I don't care, and I'm just like, it's not that I don't care, it's just like I'm not worried about it. Why are you so kanchong about everything? What kanchong means uptight, worried, stressed, lah, you go Urban Dictionary this thing, okay? But a lot of people when they do project, they're like, oh my god, and they will try to like, pull their head. I'm just like, chill, we can everything also can one, don't worry, we will find a way. If we cannot do it this way, there is another way, we will find it, don't worry. So that's the kind of like attitude I bring into the classroom as well when I teach spin for you guys who are listening as well, right? And is a lot of like, hey, I know where we are right now isn't where we want to be in the future, but there is a road to get there, and we are on that road, and we got to push ourselves that way. And we always got to find the lightest situation in life to make ourselves love what we do, or else life is so short lah. Life is so short. And earlier last year, I was involved in a drink driving accident, right? And so it was my fault, of course, because I was doing something bad. And that life-threatening accident really like woke me up. And this is where my life completely changed. So before that, I was in a phase, I was just going, I was partying, I was doing all the kinds of stuff. But after that, right, I'm just like, life is so short and so fragile. And of course, it doesn't help that like everybody I almost work with, I have like a close relation with somebody that actually passed away. And these people weren't like old. These people were like 34, 40 years old. And these guys are like, actually all my bosses lah. Anyway, so if you're my boss now, I burn joystick for you. But like, you know what I say? Yeah, so life is very short. You only have 1,440 minutes a day. Yeah, and if somebody comes and you spend so much time worrying about the future, you spend so much time thinking about the past, you so much time in regret, and not enough time planning for your life, then sad, right? You waste your life. You literally waste your life. And one of the biggest lessons I learned when I was like in secondary school, when I was young adult, right, was that, the phrase, I just want to kill time, right? That is actually you saying, I want to, waste my life away, basically, right? And I know it means like you want to chill, you want to just kill time and buy time, but every time you kill time, you actually waste your life, because this time you will never get back. Money you lose, you can always make back, but time you lose, you can never get back. Yeah. A good scientific paper, I mean, they did this study lah. So basically they ask you to think about it this way. Sorry, they ask you to think about it this way. If you, right now, in whatever situation you are, you can have an opportunity to exchange your life with a 90-year-old billionaire, would you do it? Some people at the point of hearing billionaire, yeah, why wouldn't I want to be a billionaire? And it changed. But you know, if you're a billionaire, you only have like a few years left to live or a few days left to live. That was the point. All the money in the world also cannot do anything lah, right? On your deathbed, you're not going to say, I wish I made more money. You will say, I wish I used my time more wisely. So like, hey, if you guys want to find out more about like time management, energy management, how to kind of like prioritize yourself using all these useful tools like the Eisenhower matrix and stuff like that. And these are things that I teach. I know I am a comedian and I know that a lot of people can't take me seriously, but this is something that I really want to do. I mean, future wise. So if you guys really, really are interested and you want to learn these kind of things, hit me up, send me a DM. Let's talk about it. You know, let's get your life back on track. Right? I try. I mean, this is what I want lah. Yeah. I think it's very long. And I don't think we can. Okay. I read one more, and then we'll talk about all the other stuff, right? I got so many like funny life stories. I mean, Uncle O lah, so I got a lot of life stories. So if you enjoy this episode, please let me know. Okay. Okay, last one we want to tackle with before we say goodbye is how to get over negative feedback and people trying to bring you down. I think I kind of like explained a little bit in my DNA, and because my DNA is somewhat easier for me. But okay, if I want to give you a little self-help, this is my self-help, okay? Get your shit together. Get your SHIT together. Number one, S, self-care. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself in order to like, know where you stand, have a little bit of like confidence and knowing. So sometimes you have to know the content. You have to know the content of your character. You have to know the content of what you are involved in. For example, in my case, so I'm a spin instructor, right? So let's say if somebody wants to give me negative feedback about my class, number one, I have to be humble lah, right? So every time I'm humble, I'm always open to feedback. If there is a way I can do things better, I'm gladly growing. So I'm always open up to feedback, and I'm always open to like criticism. I mean, sometimes people don't know how to give criticism, or sometimes people don't know how to like zoom 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 zoom. People don't know how to like coach people, but whatever lah, you take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah. Oh, so okay, let me finish the SHIT one. So S is self-care, H is happiness, take care of your happiness. Yeah. So life coaching wise, if you guys want to have some tools and tricks on like how to actually know if you're happy and how to reach there, hit me up, right? I is intention. You have to learn to set intention, and everything you do is from intention. So when people give you negative feedback, ask them, what is your intention? Is your intention to help me, or is your intention to like, just put me down? If your intention does not help me, then for what I listen to you? I don't want to listen to you. All right. And then T is time. Okay, time management, which is energy management, which is all that kind of thing. And do I have the time for your nonsense or not? If I have the time to grow, I have the time to learn. So yeah, know your stuff, get your shit together, and then like really know where you're coming from, but also have that humble, like beginner amateur approach to everything you do. I've been teaching for 5 years, but if anybody has any input about my class, I am gladly here to listen. And if I can make it better, I will make it better if it makes sense, right? So yeah, I hope this answer your questions, how to get over negative feedback and people trying to bring you down. Oh, honey, people are trash. Men are trash, women are trash, everybody's trash. Human nature is to put people down so that they can edify themselves. It takes a special breed of people to be out there edifying each other. And I feel like people in the fitness community, especially, we do it the best because this is what we want. We want us to be better. We want us to grow, to be stronger people, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally as well. And that's what I want to kind of like do for you as well. So, yeah, people are always going to try to bring you down. Number one is you don't bring yourself down first. Yeah. Lift yourself up every single day so that you can take on the world's trash. With that in mind, thank you so much, everybody. We have so much more, and I wish I can go through everything, but it's way past today's episode. I like talking to you guys, which is just me talking to myself. But so I take this as practice for myself because I grew up not communicating, and I suck at communicating, I feel. So this is me practice speaking, practice communicating. Let me know how I do. Rate Spotify, YouTube, you know what to do lah. Thank you, everybody. I love you. See you again soon. Bye.